Welcome to Super Science. Today we will learn the lesson number 1 for grade 4, Adaptations in Plants. Plants are found everywhere on the earth, land, water, oceans, rivers, deserts and mountains. These places are different from each other. Some of these places receive more rainfall while some places are very dry. Some places experience snowfall and are very cold while some places experience high temperature and humid conditions. The soil also differ from place to place. It can be sandy, clayey or loamy. Different type of soils can hold different amount of water and nutrients. Hence, plants develop special features to live successfully in their unique surroundings. This helps them to survive and grow. An adaptation is a change in the body or behavior of an organism that helps it to survive. For example, a cactus that has adapted to live in desert cannot grow in marshy land. Similarly, pine tree will not grow in the desert. All living things, animals and plants adapt to their surrounding to survive. The natural home of a plant or an animal is called its habitat. Adaptation in plants. Plants can be placed under two major groups according to their habitat: terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants, plants that grow on land, are called terrestrial plants. Aquatic plants that grow in water is called aquatic plant. Terrestrial plants. Terrestrial plants are found in different type of terrestrial habitats such as deserts, marshes, plains, forest, grassland and coastal region. Deserts. Deserts are areas of land that receive little or no rain. The temperature during the day is very high. It is hot, dry and sandy in desert. Due to the low rainfall, very small amount of water is available in the desert. The water is present deep under the ground. Due to the scarcity of water in deserts, only few plants grow there. The desert plant, also called xerophytes, have adapted themselves to obtain water from the ground and also minimize water loss from their body parts. A cactus plant that is found in desert shows the following adaptations. It has succulent stem which can store large amount of water. The leaves of the cactus plant are modified into thin and sharp spines which prevent the loss of water through transpiration. Transpiration is the process by which water is lost through the stomata of leaf. The roots of the cactus plant grow very deep into the ground and spread out wide to absorb as much water as possible from the ground. Palm and acacia are some examples of desert plants. Hill. The temperature in the hills varies from cold to extremely cold. During winters, there is snowfall in some areas. Sometimes days can be very windy too. Trees that grow on the hills have adapted themselves to survive the cold and windy conditions. Pine, spruce, fir and cedar are examples of trees found in hilly areas. Trees found on hills have a conical shape. You have learned in previous classes that houses present in the hills have sloping roofs. Do you remember why? A pine tree that is found on the hills shows the following adaptations. Pine trees have a conical shape. Due to this shape, water and snow easily slide down the leaves and does not settle on it. The leaves on the pine tree are needle-shaped. They are tough and coated with wax. Thus, they do not get damaged by extreme cold. The leaves hang downwards to reduce water loss by transpiration. The roots grow deep into the soil so that the trees can withstand against a strong wind that blow on the mountains. Coniferous trees do not shade their leaves. They are called evergreen trees, as they remain green throughout the year. Let us perform an activity to demonstrate how shapes of trees and their leaves help them to survive in their habitat. Activity 1. Fold a sheet of newspaper 3 or 4 times and cut round the edge of the mark a circle. Now fold the circle into half and tap the edge together to make a cone. Take another sheet and fold it, roll it into a cylinder shape. Now take a cardboard and paste it to open mouth of the cylinder with the help of glue and adhesive tape as shown in the figure. Place the cone and the cylinder in the separate tray. Pour sand uniformly through a bucket on them one by one. Which shape do you find remain standing, the cone or the cylinder? Write your answer. Observation. Which shape of the tree is able to withstand firmly on the mountains when it snows heavily? Write your answer. Marshes. Marshes have plenty of water and clay soil. In clay soil, there are very little air spaces between the soil particles. Plants in marshes have adapted themselves to obtain air. They are also adapted to bear the constant water movement without causing any damage to their body parts. Mangrove trees grow in marshes. Their roots do not get air under the soil, so they grow special roots above the soil to breathe. Such roots are called breath roots. Plains. Plains mostly have a moderate climate. It is neither too hot nor too cold. Plains receive sufficient rainfall. In India, trees such as peepal, gulmohar, shisham and teak shed their leaves in winter season to protect themselves from the cold weather. Such trees are called deciduous trees. In spring season, new leaves grow on these trees. Trees such as coconut, mango and banyan grow in hot and damp regions. They are evergreen trees. Grassland. Grasslands are large area of land covered with grass and wildflowers. The plants are adapted to develop deep roots in order to absorb water from deep in the soil. This makes the soil rich in nutrients and suitable for farming. Roots also behind the soil together. Grasslands receive very less rainfall. Therefore, the amount of tall trees or bushes are very less in grasslands. However, small trees are scattered throughout the grassland. Foxtail and ray grasses are some examples of plants that are found in grassland. Coastal regions. Certain regions near sea coast receive high rainfall and the water can be salty. Coconut, rubber, and pepper are some plants that grow in these regions. Coastal trees do not shed their leaves in winter season. Forests. Forests are regions that are thickly populated with different kind of plants. They experience heavy rainfall. Many varieties of trees, shrubs and herbs are found here. Forests are home to a wide variety of animals and birds. The leaves of plants growing in the forests have waxy coating with pointed tips. These allow water to drain away from the leaves. Also, the soils found in the forests are shallow. Plants growing in these soils have special roots that help them to stand firmly in the soil. Orchid, mahogany, rosewood and sandalwoods are some examples of plants that are found in forests. Run through. Terrestrial plants grow on land. They are found in various habitats such as plains, mountains, deserts, marshes, forests, grasslands and coastal regions. Terrestrial plants are adapted to survive according to their habitat. Track your progress. This work for you. Give one example of plant growing in each of the following regions. Aquatic plants. You must have seen plants growing in pond or lake. Plants that grow in water are called hydrophytes or aquatic plants. There are three types of aquatic plants: floating plants, fixed plant and underwater plants. Floating plants. These plants float freely in water. These plants can float with the flow of water as they do not have roots. Water hyacinth and water lettuce, pistia are some examples of floating plants. Floating plants have spongy bodies that are filled with air. This makes them light and helps them to float on water. Duckweed is another example of floating plant. Their floating leaves have chlorophyll on the top of the surface. Fixed plant. These plants have roots that are fixed to the mud at the bottom of the pond. They have adapted so that they can float, get enough air and sunlight to make food and prevent damage by flowing water. Lotus and water lily are some examples of fixed aquatic plants. Fixed aquatic plants have long and hollow stems with large air spaces. This helps to plants to stay afloat. Their soft and flexible stems bend with flow of water. This prevents them from getting damaged by strong water currents. Their flat and broad leaves help these plants to get sufficient air and sunlight. The waxy coating on their leaves prevents them from rotting. Unlike most green plants, fixed aquatic plants have stomata present on the upper surface of the leaves. Such adaptive features help these plants to perform gaseous exchange from their surroundings. Let us perform an activity to understand an importance of waxy coating on the leaves of aquatic plant. Activity 2. Dip your fingers in a bowl. Dip your fingers in a bowl of water for 10 minutes. You will notice that the skin of your finger gets wrinkled. Why do not the leaves of aquatic plants get wrinkled? This is because the aquatic plant have a waxy coating on the surface of leaves, which prevent them from absorbing excessive water and getting wrinkled. Underwater plants. Some plants remain completely beneath the surface of water. They are also called submerged plant. They have adapted to breathe underwater. Hydrilla and tap grass are underwater plants. Their root fixes them to the bottom of the pond. They have thin, flexible stem and finally dissected leaves that offer little resistance of water currents. Hydrilla has tiny leaves, while tap grass has narrow, ribbon-like leaves which bend in the flowing water. They breathe through a small air space present in their stem. The leaves of underground plants do not have stomata. These plants are adapted to absorb carbon dioxide and oxygen from the water. Run through the chapter. Plants that grow in water are called hydrophytes or aquatic plants. They are of three types: floating, fixed, and underwater plants. These plants are adapted to live on surface of beneath the surface of water. The leaves of aquatic plants are adapted to offer minimum resistance against the flowing water. Under the submerged conditions, leaves of these plants absorb carbon dioxide and oxygen from the water. Track your progress. Fill in the blanks. This is for you. This exercise you have to do. Now we will study glossary. What is glossary? Some glossary words are here. Adaptation. What is adaptation? A change in the body or behavior of an organism of suit the environment. This is called adaptation. Aquatic plants. Plants that grow in water. Deciduous trees. Trees that shed their leaves in winter. Evergreen trees. Trees that do not shed their leaves. Habitat. The natural home of plants or an animal. Moderate climate. Neither too cold nor too hot. Terrestrial plants. Plants that grow on land. Transpiration. The process of losing of water through the stomata of leaf. Assessment zone. This exercise have to do for you. See the questions. Question number 1. Take the correct answer. You see the questions and take the correct answer. And B. Find the odd one out. Give reason for your answer in the space provided. And C. Fill in the blanks using the words given in the box. And D. Answer the following questions in brief. So this exercise is for you. We will see you in next video. Take care. Bye bye.